I think now there's an essence for space. They want a little bit more creative stimulation for the spaces that they are in.
So, Arun, welcome to Keus, and thank you for coming. Today, we just wanted to pick your brain on a few things. To start with, we see this dramatic change in India where homes are suddenly getting bigger, more creative. Over the last 5-7 years, this is a change that has happened across the country. What's really driving this?
Okay, so first of all, thank you for having me over in your gorgeous experience center in this serene setting in Hyderabad, which is so unlikely for a center for creative thinking. I think one of the main factors to answer your question, a lot of our work is in the residential space. We've kind of seen a trend that has changed drastically and dramatically post-COVID, or during COVID, I would say. The way people perceived homes post-COVID is very different from the way people have perceived homes. Earlier, the whole thing was about having your big homes and your big rooms and your number of rooms and this, that, and the other. But I think now the trend, I think, is more on an experiential sort of feel within the homes. Because the way the trend of work that has changed drastically post-COVID, people are spending a lot more time at home. And because of that, they want their homes to sort of exude certain qualities that earlier they didn't pay too much attention to. You'd have a study in your house, but there was just like a study. But today they want it well appointed. They want to have a good background. Everyone's spending time at home. Kids, older folk, the guys who work, the man and the woman of the house, etc. Everybody wants their different spaces for themselves, and therefore, I think a lot more attention is being paid to how homes are being designed, how spaces are being created. And I think that is now like a big thing in the design world.
You're probably for the first time relating to a home like you should relate to a home. And
Exactly.
You're thinking, okay, if I have to work here, what's my space? If I have to relax here, what is my space?
Yeah.
If this is a family area, what does a family area mean? And
yeah. It also has got a lot to do with people being exposed. People who've lived and experienced cultures in highly refined societies. Like if you see people who've spent a lot of time in Scandinavia, when they come back and say they want to build a house, the brief itself is very different. And you can see it. People who spend time in the Far East and people who spend time in Europe or in the Americas, their requirements are now very different. It's very global. It's very international. And gone are the days when, the only aspect of the home was to have large rooms and this, that, and the other. But I think now there's an essence for space. They want a little bit more creative stimulation for the spaces that they are in. Lighting design has changed, furniture design has changed, space design has changed, space management has changed. I think if you actually go to look at it, I think it's a great time for us designers to be part of that journey of our clients and our potential clients, because you're also now forced to think out of the box. So you're trying to craft and create unique spaces that has that seamlessness of spaces from the inside, outside, volumes, light, shade, all of that creates a great experiential sort of a feel for the users. So it pushes us, I think in terms of design, it pushes us also to our creative extents. We are forced to think out of the box. We question what we've done in the past. We're trying to find new ways to configure things, resolve conflicts that we used to have in the past pertaining to certain design aspects, etc. I think it's a lot more interesting. It's a lot more vibrant. I think the whole design space is a lot more vibrant.
You seem to be enjoying this part of your career or journey where you get more opportunities to explore, understand. One thing, that got me into this business was when I traveled, I saw that lighting and automation created a very different ambience. And my own personal experiences with some of the leading automation companies of the world in India was not great.
Right.
And that's what actually drove me into researching this in 2015 and then actually taking a plunge in this 2017.
Right.
What's your thought on, how important lighting design is, or automation is in this new era, new homes, new designs?
Lighting as a subject, I think, has seen a sea of change. Now, lighting in homes is very aspirational. They want their homes to have a certain quality of experiences. Each one would want a area or their favorite corners and nooks inside the house to be lit in a different way. If they're entertaining, the lighting is different. When they're sitting there for a quiet evening or two, the lighting is different. When they with older people, when they're reading, they're watching TV, they're just having a good time. So everybody now is so aware, and information is available at a click of a fingers. People are looking at it, and people are like we discussed earlier. People are exposed, and they're saying that we want this, we want that, we want that. So on multiple sort of options in terms of lighting, and questions like those are answered with technology. And I think lighting is a brilliant addition to the design process. Just like, let's say, furniture or art, I think has become a very, very critical part of homes. In that context, I like your journey. I mean, I keep talking about you guys as Keus, the way you've kind of charted your journey. The course that you guys are working on, I think, is fairly unique. It's seamlessness, the ease of putting it together, and it's easy to sort of overlay into the several service layers that we have in putting up a house, right? And it also helps that it's a nice, young, vibrant, creative team that you have. It's a brilliant sort of a initiative, I think. A big pat on your back for that.
Thank you. The pain that I personally went through with lighting or automation in my pre-Keus era really drove us to say that why does automation have to be complicated, right? The logic was very clear. Grandma to use, grandma to configure, design never to fail. At the end of the day, it's if you think of it from a consumer perspective, it's their point of view, it's a switch. If I click, everything needs to work seamlessly. I don't need to use my brain. And that's exactly the direction and the thought process and the first principles that Keus has, that where we are driving this.
Right.
But I'm not sure that people pay the same amount of attention that they pay to lighting or automation in a house, like they pay attention to great furniture, a dining table, or the flooring, or the cladding, or the artwork. Firstly, I would want to know, is that true, or have you experienced that, or are your clients equally focused?
Yeah. See, to answer that question, I think lighting in the past was prohibitive in terms of costs. Okay, so the guy who had money would say that, I want to bring in a lighting designer. Where did this lighting designer come in from? You never had the concept of a lighting designer a few years back, right? Now, the very fact that a lighting designer has been birthed is out of a necessity. People are looking at more sort of curated spaces. So a lighting designer is now a crucial link in the whole putting together of a house. Even offices, and even looking at restaurants and stuff like that, where people now coming and saying that, hey, you know what, we want lighting to be in a particular way, right? In my view, I think the restriction that was there, prevalent at those times, was the fact that A, prohibitive in terms of cost, B, prohibitive in terms of the time it took, and C, the technology that was not as evolved as it is today. And therefore, it just meant like another technical guy coming on board with his or her requirements, and just to kind of link it all with everything else that's going on, paucity of time, budget, this, that, and the other. It never was part of the drill, so to say. But today, I think things are changing. People want, like we discussed, specific things, and I think lighting and automation answers some of those very crucial questions. Earlier, you would just do your chandelier, which you would probably buy from Dubai or from Italy or wherever, and you just have that, and you have your spotlights, and you have those horrible lights for pictures, etc., that you would light up your spaces, and that was it. I mean, you just had versions of it. You'd had different combinations of all of those things. But today, you can actually get very specific. And the interesting thing is where automation in lighting is such a winning sort of a aspect is that the ease at which you can do it. It's an ever-changing landscape. Sure. I think every year the percentage increases. I think a lot more people are now very sure about what they want and stuff like that. So we see a lot more people indulging in automation and lighting as a critical aspect of like structural design. You would not construct your house without a structural engineer. So now it's almost like it's a default setting. Getting automation and a lighting designer into the mix, I think, is more like a default setting. At least for some of us, our clientele are very specific about the kind of look and feel that they want. See, your home is where that's your cocoon, right? For all your stress, of all that you've experienced outside of your home or in your workplace or wherever you are. But when you come home, that's the envelope that comforts you. And lighting, I think, is a very critical part. I mean, you don't want to come back home from a hard day's work and you have these 1,000 watts that are like just like really on you and is pushing you further down, right? You can just come back and set the moods. You can just so be in the zone, right? So I'm saying even from a very spiritual sort of angle, it's good energies that you're creating inside your house.
Yeah.
And that envelope of that energy which you're within which you operate, like you said, for different scenes in any given house, I think is a very, very it's a very sort of a humbling experience. Together we provide good solutions and you touch people's lives in absolute more ways than one. And I think you enhance and you create better environments for people to live in. Another thing that typically, I don't know how many people know this, but lighting automation does more than just, let's say, just create scenes. It is a big energy saver.
Yes.
It's easy on your budget in the long run. There's an installation cost, but your running costs, you offset this cost over a couple of years and then you're done because you improve the longevity of the fittings. There is safety and security. You can preset certain environments in your house. I think there's so many qualities that the whole technology sort of brings together.
I just want to share that, it gives us a lot of joy and happiness to make your designs and many people, many more creative people like yours, to bring them to life, to add that extra, the cherry on top of the cake to make that difference.
Correct.
In the entire house. We are also very, very excited that our experience center in Bangalore is now designed by you.
Yes.
We love those designs.
Yes.
We are super excited to see it coming to life.
Yeah. The experience center, I think, is a critical part, is like a good marketing tool for you to sort of allow the uninitiated to experience what lighting design is all about. When you kind of actually set up a place and allow people to come in and walk through the entire experience, I think it's a completely a whole lot of different ballgame.
On day one, when we launched our products and services, the first thing we did was we created an experience center. I don't think it's easy to understand the value of light and automation or how they come together and bring it. You're absolutely right. Yeah. A deck or a video or none of these things actually do that real justice.
Absolutely. The awareness sometimes I feel is not there, which is why some people with budgets also sometimes are reluctant to say that, no, I think it's too much, I can't do this. It becomes one more gadget to sort of manage and I can't do that. But I think that is a journey to walk and cross that barrier. I think what the Experience Center does is answer some of those questions. And I think that will be a great thing. I really look forward to putting this Experience Center together for you.
Yeah, absolutely. You're absolutely right on everything that you said about the Experience Center. It's such a experiential solution space and such a collaborative space for the client, for the interior designer, architect, everybody to come together. There is this apprehension about another gadget or another
Exactly.
technology, and
Exactly.
why do I really
Yeah.
need it? A good automation system not only brings everything together seamlessly to elevate the living experience, but it's actually taking away a lot of not needed gadgets out of your
Yes.
life and making your life simpler, better, easier.
Exactly.
I'm very proud of what the team has done till date, what they're doing.
Yeah.
There's a lot more to come in Keus and RDO as we grow. And if we can bring that change to the country and then take it across the world, it will personally give me a lot of pride. And
Brilliant. Yeah.
to many of the
Yes. I wish you and your team all of the very best of everything that you've started to do. But I hope that you have your continued success and scale bigger, higher goals and objectives. Great to be here.
Thank you, Arun. Thank you. It means a lot. Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Cool. Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Just one last question. What is it about this cool boy attitude that you carry? What's the secret behind that?
Oh my God. Okay. Turn that off. No, I mean, I don't know about the cool boy and all that, but I think while my body is aging, I think in my mind I'm still a 30-year-old. So I think that keeps my energy levels up, I think. And I have a lot of my friends who are all like way younger than me. So I think it's got to do with how much you laugh, I think. Wonderful. You're able to surround yourself with people who are happy, and I think you by default are in a happy space, and that's how it is. Yeah.